for good old video. What do we got here? Day 41, by the way. Or at least by my counting. 41A, 41B, just 41 for now. Huh? One. 1, 2, I'm sneaking another one in, 3. Not because of that comment, just because it's a good idea. What do we got? Some more trigonometry. This is kind of like our second last section, tiny one at the end. I'm going to answer some questions about the test 2. Not give you answers, but explain questions so that you understand them. And that's it. Okay, this is the first warm-up question you had. Looks like this, to find sine of A. So on this page, I'm going to do sine of A. On the next page, I'll do tangent of B, just so it's separate and looking good. So, good people, help me out. What's the first thing to do when trying to find sine of a value like this? First thing is to label. That's actually the second thing. There's one thing to do just before that. What's an example of one of the labels you're going to use? What are the no formula yet. It's coming up. But what are some labels? What are the names you're going to use when labeling sides? Step 1, blank. Step 2, label. It's true. You remember this. What are the 3 names we have? Hyper, except you have a lot of sugar. Yeah. Opposites, yeah, that's easy to say. This is hypotenuse, trying to squeeze it in on the page. That's the first one you're thinking there. Yeah. Does it read okay? Does it look okay? Yeah. Okay, opposite, that's a little nicer. And then what's the last one? Yeah, advantage. It's an advantage if you get it right. Absolutely. No. If you put AD, I'll know though. Adjacent. Yeah, it means beside. Now, how do you know which one is the hypotenuse? It is, and how do you know it's 13? Nice, it's always the longest, okay? HYP. So notice we're starting a late North American style, shorten it, right? Okay. Which one's the opposite? Yeah, okay, not bad. The opposite for A, right? So what I'm suggesting the first step is that what you want to do is put a circle around the angle that you're looking at. Okay, we're looking at angle A, put a circle around it. Okay, it seems minimal, seems basic, but it's a good idea. Okay. And so now from class, you said opposite of A and you waved your hand like that. Yeah, it's true. Okay, so that means what? The opposite of angle A is 12. Good. So that's this side over there. And then the one that's left over, the one that makes the angle is adjacent. Right on, good. So those are steps 1 and 2. Anyone remember what step number 3 is? Yeah, remember the formula. And what we can A cute way to do it is the magic word. Sometimes it's Shazam, but here in math class, it's SOHCAHTOA. Right, so how does this help with the formula? So it's true, that's what we're finding now. It's what we're creating, it's the formula. How does this help? Well, we have sine, cosine, and tangent. What does the S, the C, and the T stand for? Good, stands for sine, cosine, and tangent, right? So this question here says, find sine. So that means we look at the S part. And what is this S part? S with the OH there, what does that say to do? Yep, perfect. Sine uses the sides opposite and hypotenuse. And then more than that, from class, recognized and remembered that the order matters. The S is for sine. O, because it comes next, is on the top. Then H becomes since it's last, it's on the bottom. Okay, so sine is going to be opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, well, that's good. We just update it now for this particular question. And the update looks like this. Sine of the angle that we're working on, so, yeah, is the opposite side, equals now, not just related. The opposite side, which is 12, and then over the hypotenuse divided by 13. Okay. All right, so we're going to go through the same process to find what tangent of B is. Okay, so I'm going to circle the angle that we're interested in. We're going to have to label the sides and then create the formula, as you say, magically with SOHCAHTOA there. Okay, so the same triangle. Second part of this question is tangent of B. So that looks like this. Okay, so the first step is what? Yeah, we're looking at angle B. So we're going to circle B there. It's true. Now we label the sides. We've got to label the sides first. So that means those special 3-letter words there, right? So what's 12 going to be, since you said that one first? Yeah, adjacent's how you say it then. ADJ? How you write it?
And the opposite is the CA.
CA, yeah, okay, you said it like that. So we can see. CA is the opposite. That would be a math way to write it. Yep, and then 13 being the long side, being pointed at by the 90 degrees is HYP. That's true. And it makes the angle up there at B. Nice. So we got a circle, we got our label. Math styles for labeling there today, just because it was mentioned. What next? What's that? Yeah, the formula part, right? So let's do some magic. Soka toa. Okay, so what part are we going to look at? It is. It's opposite over adjacent. That's what tangent is. What we're asked to find and what our magic phrase says to do. Opposite over adjacent. Sure.
This year we are going to learn cotangent, continuous, and or
No, we won't.
okay.
We'll save that for next year. Today we work with sine, cosine, and tangent. Some people know there are 3 others. Those are for next year. Okay, so for us, just these. So this is good so far, and the organization isn't bad for this one. Okay, it can still be better, but not bad on the page there. But to finish it up, we want for this question, tangent of B is equal to, yes, opposite on the top, and the opposite of angle B, which is up there. Yeah, exactly. It's 8. And the adjacent side is 12, which is true. Yeah. Sure, 6 times 2. So what can we do? 2 is divide out. That's true. Okay, so 4 turns into 2 times 2. 6 turns into 2 times 3. And so tan B is equal to 2 over 3. Okay, it's true. And notice we can get that right from the very beginning. If we had 8 is 4 and 2, 12 is 4 and 3.
Oh, yeah.
So the 4s would have disappeared right away, and we could go straight down to 2 over 3. Okay. So not wrong, just a little detour, little walk in the woods on a sunny day, and still got there. Okay, that's what we need. How y'all feeling about that? You good? Okay. Then this we haven't talked about yet, or haven't talked about at all, but I'm hoping you might remember it from your mathematical lifetimes from before. Can y'all remind me what Pythagoras told us? Yeah.
The hypotenuse equals like square of hypotenuse.
Yep.
Square of adjacent plus square of opposite.
Nice. So using from class, we had the trig language that we just had. That was cool. No one's ever said it to me like that in my entire career. Okay, so that's nice. It ties into our topic. What you can typically see is that the 1, 2, 3 letters that we had from before, you'll see it written like that. Okay, now importantly, I haven't said this in class yet, but the labeling matters. Okay, big letters for the angles. I think that's pretty standard. But what's super important is that the opposites have to match. If this is big angle C, this is small side C. If this is big angle B, this is small side B, opposite. Then opposite one last time, as you can tell. Okay, it's little a. So then, updating it with the letters, then we get sort of the usual form that that Pythagoras said gave us a long time ago. C squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. All right, so could you continue then and figure out what the value for x has to be? Or you can tell me what comes next. Let's go from left to right. What's the value for C? Ah, good. There are two C's. These are referring to, these are small letters. And so these are referring to the sides, the lengths. Okay, so what's the length C equal to? That's a 0, believe it or not. 20. Okay, so instead of C, we got 20 squared. It will be 400. Yeah, that's true. We can use that. It is 16, yeah, for side A over there, the length. 16. What's 16 squared? That's 8. 8 squared. Uh, 196, I think. Let's see, is it though? 2, 3, 6. That's 4, 2, 8. No, I don't think it is. 256, yeah. I get the other one, 196 is 14 squared, I think. And even as a math teacher, I still get them mixed up once in a while. Okay, so you don't. Yeah, plus x, no longer b, switch it up so it's x squared, right? Looking like that now, true? True. So what comes next then? What's that? For this one, because we got squared and it's positive, we're going to keep it there. Okay. Having x squared positive is like super important. So we'll leave this there and move the other stuff. Meaning, we move the 256 over, okay? What do we get then? 400. Yeah, I gave it away with the minus there. That's true. Changes sign, right? And it goes across. Equals x squared. Breaking out the brain. How much is it? 144? 34? 40. Nice. There it is. Okay. Now, what do we do to get to the next step? We don't have x, we got x squared there. Nice. From class it said maybe like, that's exactly what we do. Okay. Now, something special happens here. Square rooting something squared. This is actually going to give two answers, plus and minus 12. And what we do is we choose the one that makes sense. So we're not going to have a negative number. What we're going to do is we choose x is equal to 12 as our answer there. All right, so congratulations. Used Pythagoras for the first time in a little while in order to figure out what a missing side is for our triangle up there. Okay, so this is the last one. I think it comes up in the test, and I don't know, just one of these topics I think we did once and then just haven't really done a whole lot of, at least in this form. You can put it all in one picture if you want. No need to waste a bunch of paper and kill a bunch of trees. I'll go like that. Yes, take a second if you don't mind and make a graph of these 1, 2, 3 points only. No need to connect any lines or anything. Just the points. So let's get this sorted out and straight. Officially, I don't know if I said this. Okay, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 quadrants. Quad, which means like 4 in Latin, right? Okay, so quadrants, they are labeled like this, around in that order. So that's a 1, that's a 2. This is quadrant 3, and that's quadrant 4. Okay, so if I haven't told you before, then there it is officially. What direction is this? X direction, that's true. And what direction is the up and down? Y, that's good. Officially little arrows on there. Not bad. X can be positive or negative. What's on this side? Positive, what's over here? Yeah, negatives, that's true. Y, same thing, positive or negative, so? Positive Y and negative Y. Okay, we're getting there. Looking at these coordinates, what's the first number represent? X is true. First number is always going to represent X. And then the second number, Y. Okay, not bad. So this point here, 1, 6, point A. Where's my pen go? Starts here. How far does it, well, help me out. Which way?
Right?
Right? You tell me when to stop.
Up to the one.
Oh, okay, so it goes to the right, how far?
1.
1. Okay, so I'll put 1 there, and then up by 6. So I'll put right, and then up. True. So 1, 2, 3, 4, big 5, little 6, right? Okay, good. So that's where point A is going to be, right there. Not joining any lines, so I'll just put that beside it. Okay, good. How about B? Where does this go? Move my hand out of the way.
1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Okay, so -3 means, yeah, nice. That means you're going to the left.
and then up. Then 1, Sorry.
Yeah, up by 5, that's what that is. Okay, so my pen is here. Where does it go? Left by 1, 2, left by 3. Okay. Yeah. -3. -3. Then up by 5 from where we are, right? Doesn't go back there. Left by 3, then up by 5, about there if you eyeball it across. Okay, so that will be point B right there beside the 2 of quadrant 2. Very good, good people, hearing good things. How about this last one?
Right by X and then down.
Yeah, down by 3. Okay, so right by X goes by 1, right by 2, and then down by 3. So C is right there. Everyone got these 1, 2, 3 points right? Yeah? Okay, good. That will make your future lives, your current lives and future lives very successful. Congratulations. Okay, so what we'll do, you've been working hard. We got a little bit to do today. Let's take 5 minutes, do a little stretchy stretch. Then we'll do the lesson part for the day, and that'll be it. Or the lesson and the test questions. Okay, so about 5 minutes, good people. We'll rejoin and continue the adventure. Good people, the next section looks a little like this. Day 41 still, or so I believe. And we're gonna do this. What we're gonna do is we're gonna find the length, find the missing lengths of our right triangles. Okay, so as an example of this type of question, just as a math example, I'll come up, I'll bring some cool ones in. Well, math is cool on its own. What am I talking about? But I'll bring up some maybe historical type questions and such next day. So the situation is this. Let's say we have the following. If you think back to the earlier questions that we did with labeling the sides, we had all the sides known. 3, 4, 5, 8, 12, 13, except for the last question with Pythagoras, right? So with this one, what I want you to notice is that we're going to be given, you're given an angle, and you're given, one side for sure, maybe more. So sample question would be like this. Let's say the angle down here at A, I'll have ABC again. Let's say the angle down here at A is 45 degrees. We will say that the length down here at CA, we'll say that this is of a length 12, and we'll call it meters, just so there are some units with it. And watch, since this side is going up and down, we're going to call it Y, just so it's like our X and Y axis, up and down. It won't always be like that in the questions you get. Math people just don't always think that way. But it's cool to have the up and downs like Y, and then the lefts and right like X. That's the clever way to do it. Okay, so the goal from the situation here, you can see we got this is a 12, that is 45. We're given an angle, we're given the side. And then the question is, the burning question is, what is the length of Y? what is the length of y equal to? And so this is how you do it. These are the steps. Okay, so number one, just like before, circle whatever angle you're looking at or working with. And instead of them telling you, you're gonna have to decide which one to use. It'll be obvious. We got a number for this one, we don't for that one, so that's one we're gonna use, okay? Circle the angle. 2, label the sides. Does this seem familiar? Yeah, just like we did before, right? Step 3, use the magic. SOHCAHTOA. And then remember from class, someone said that this gives you the formula and it's true. So what you're going to do then is solve the formula that you get. Oh, solve the formula, it's just off. Okay. There we go. Almost everything. Pretty good. Okay, good people. So I'm going to show the solution here on this side so you can see it match up with the steps and the triangle that we have drawn there. Okay, so we're going to circle the angle that we're going to work with. Well, I hope it's clear that, well, one thing, we never use the 90 degrees as our angle. When we talk about circling an angle, it's always one of the small ones. Which angle is useful? The one we got the number for. So that one right there. Okay, so the one that's going to be helpful for us is angle A, which is our 45 degrees. So just like before, we're going to label the sides. I'll do the tough one. That's hypotenuse there. Yeah, that's the hard one. Longest. It's the longest one to write. Okay, what's the y side? What is it? Yeah, that's the opposite side. And then the side that's creating the angle, a DJ. Right. Adjacent it is. Yeah, that's my DJ. Floor on the floor. Okay, so we labeled the sides. Now, this is a little different. What we got to do is we got to decide which trig function to use. Do we use sine, do we use cosine, or do we use tangents? Because in this type of question, they don't give it to you. In the other questions, it said find sine of A, right? So we have to decide, well, how do we do that? Well, we take a look at the sides that we need. We need to know what y is, so we have to use the opposite side. And we got a number for this side, which happens to be adjacent. Okay, so these two sides, the one we need, opposite, and the one we know something about, happens to be adjacent. These are the sides we're going to use. Okay, so It might be, yeah, someone from class got it already. So what do we have? We have the opposite side, which is y. And, oh, that's a lie. That would be the need. That's the side we need. That's the question. What is side y? The have side, the side we got a number for. It's the adjacent side in this case. So that's our 12. And so what do you do? How do you figure this out? That is, how do you figure which trig function to use? You take a look at SOHCAHTOA, and honestly, you look at the part that has the two pieces that you have here. We have the opposite side, so that means opposite there and opposite there. Put a little dot like that's kind of clever. And adjacent side as well, right? Adjacent side. And so notice since this one has 2 out of the 3, that shows which trig function to use. Okay, so we're going to use tangent in order to continue on with our solution here. So tangent, which is opposite over adjacent. Yeah, that'll be useful for us. Okay, so we set it up specifically for this question now. The angle we're looking at, it's angle A, but how big was it? Just taking a look here. 45, right? So we can set up the formula now. Tangent of 45 is equal to the opposite side, which is y, divided by the adjacent side, which is 12. So now we've done everything except solve this formula. Okay, so to do that, we want to get y by itself. And so that's going to mean multiplying now both sides by 12. So it's y divided by 12. So we multiply by 12 both sides. Those will cancel out, which is the purpose, the goal. And we get this now, this expression, 12 tangent of 45 being equal to y. Well, unless you've done some grade 12 math before you came to grade 10, what you're gonna have to do is pull out your favorite calculator in order to help you get through this section, at least until I give you some other facts and hints. Okay, so in your calculator, you got to figure out what tangent of 45 is equal to. Now, depending on the calculator you have, you might have to put the 45 in first and then press tangent, or you have to put tangent in first and then 45. You kind of got to get it figured out. Okay, so I'm not sure which calculator you got out there. For me, I got one of these that I both use for class and lift weights with. So big and heavy. For me, I go tangent first and then 45 and close the brackets. And yeah, tiny writing on the camera, right? You can see though, tangent of 45 Just typed it in there. I press my enter, not an equal, and I get an answer of 1, which happens to be correct. Okay. Value for tangent of 45 is 1. So we can go back to the equation now and substitute whatever value we get, right? That's going to be a little bit of side work for our trig value. And sometimes some weird decimals too, I might add. Okay. So we substitute what we get, work it out. And therefore, we get our final answer there at the end. Y is 12 meters. Okay, so what did we do there? Well, a little writing on it, but the situation is, or was, that we were given a triangle that had one side and one angle, and we have to figure out what a missing length is going to be. So because of this particular combination, angle with a side, now you do these steps here, which we've kind of done already. Circle the angle we're working with. We selected A because there's an actual number there given to us, so that makes it useful. Label the sides based on angle A. And we got all that, the opposite adjacent hypotenuse there. Next, we use the magic a little differently. Okay, we have to decide which trig function to use. So we take a look at the what we're given in the question and what we need. Okay, so we need to find the angle y. That's what the question is. Have the value of 12. So this means we use tangent, where we set up the formula with the values that were given. And then we solve that formula through to the end. Yeah, very likely using our calculator because of the strange trig values that can come up. Okay, we get 12 there at the end. Right, so another example. It's gonna be the same sort of combination, same style for getting the side and an angle. But what's gonna happen is the algebra might be a little weird at the bottom, depending on the side that's missing. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a different question, same style, but we gotta watch the algebra at the end of it. So this is example 2 for you. Find the length of example 2. Find the length of the hypotenuse. When you're given the situation here. It's like that, it's like that. I'm going to say this is 30 degrees down here. That's 90. And I'm going to give you that is 12. Okay, and so as I said, these are all mathematical type examples today. Next day, some more applied type things. So for those future engineers and architects out there, This is good stuff. Professional quality work coming right up. Okay, so the steps will be the same as before. As I said, except with the little bit of algebra at the end that we got to watch. Watch the algebra. All right, good people. What's the first step then?
The result.
Yeah, label the angle of that we're using, 30 down there. Okay, so that's good. What next?
The like with the what is this? A, B, C.
Oh, you want the letters there?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, okay, we can do that. We'll call that A, call that B, side C, or angle C there, big letters.
So BC is opposite.
Okay, BC is opposite. Could have just said 12 is opposite as well, right?
Okay.
Just for fun, but no, very good, professional, using the letters. I'll write it down. BC is opposite. Okay, what else?
EA is height.
Hypotenuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And
AC is AC.
that's true. That's the adjacent side down here. Okay, so that our first step was to circle the angle. Our second was to label it, just like before. We've done that now. What next? Formula, okay. How do we decide which formula to use? Someone said the formula right away. That's impressive, and it was correct, by the way. How do you decide? Circle the angle, label. Which one? Big word? Yeah, what is it? Uh-huh. So ka toa. True. See which? Should put Y? For BA, you want to call it Y? We could. Okay. Yeah, so from class it said opposite and hypotenuse, right? Okay, so this is you could write it like this. What do you have and what you need? Right, so when it says have, what numbers are those? Well, we have the opposite side. That's 12. And what side do we need? The hypotenuse, which we are calling Y, just because. Could be H, but H is sometimes for height. Can get all a bit confusing sometimes, so we'll call it Y just there. Now to decide, I think the dot trick is pretty good unless you can see it right away, right? We have the opposites, so that's there and there for the O's. Yeah, this is what I'm showing you right now from class. It's like which one to use, right? The one that has 2 dots out of the 3. See? We have the opposite side. That's O for opposite. That's O for opposite. So a little dot there. We're looking for hypotenuse because the question said so. So we got to have h, otherwise it won't be helpful, right? We need h for the hypotenuse. So then, this shows that which trig function we should be using. This shows this one. So that means, yeah, we're going to set this up, set up our formula with sine now. And as you've proven already, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. And so in fact, you could skip this step when as you get some experience with solving these things. And you can go right to the specific formula for this question. Specific means it has the actual numbers in there. Okay, so a little teaching step for this one. We get sine of the angle we're using, that's 30 degrees, circled and still on the screen. We have the opposite side, which is 12. And we have the hypotenuse that we're looking for. Yeah, we called it y because there wasn't a letter with it. And as promised now, this is where we got to pay attention to the algebra. Because the thing we're looking for, the variable is on the bottom now. Now, it's not like we invent new rules of algebra or anything. We just basically just makes an extra step. Okay, so what we can do, we want to get y out of the bottom and onto the top. That's first thing to do. So because it's divided by y, we multiply both sides by y. And even though it's not a number, we get this good canceling happening. We get the dividing happening. And y is no longer buried in the bottom. Y is now up on the top level. So that's good. Now I'm just going to clean it up and write it like this. Sine 30 is now equal to 12 on its own. Okay. Now at this point, we want to get y by itself, and we also want sine 30 being something reasonable looking. Right? So maybe at this point, we could use the calculator, figure out what sine of 30 is going to be. So you do that. Yeah, the calculator, when you work it out, if you haven't seen this topic before, happens to be 0.5. That means we can clean up our equation even more. We got y now times 0.5 is equal to 12. You see, just some extra steps with the algebra for this one. What do we have to do? We don't have y by itself yet. So one more step. Divide both sides by 0.5. What you do to one side, you do to the other. By choosing the same value, the cancel lightning happens, right? And now, maybe back to your calculator again, depending on your mathematical experience. We get y is equal to 12 divided by 0.5.
It's going to be like 12 divided by 5/10. And then it's going to do, 12 times 2, and it's going to be like 20.
Nice, yeah. The final answer, possibly flipping some fractions around in your head and such. Final answer is y is equal to 24. Okay, now, as I said, I'll just go from the beginning again. Okay, the goal was to find a missing side. We had the same combination as the earlier question where we had one side and one angle. Nothing to panic though. Go through the same steps as we had before. Circle the angle, label the sides. Selecting the formula might need a bit of attention. All right, we got to select which trig function to use, sine or cosine or tangent. And so by keeping track of what we have and what we need, we use the function that has the most information with it. 2 dots instead of just the 1. Okay, once we've got the trig function selected, so sine because it has the opposite side which we know and the hypotenuse which we need, we set up the formula and pay attention to the extra algebra since our unknown is on the bottom. Okay, now, this is might be a little shortcut that you like and are comfortable to use. If we go from this step here where we set up the equation, y sine 30 is 12 over y. What I showed you is mathematically correct. You know, this is the y, how to get from one step to the other. It's divided by y, so you multiply both sides. You want 0.5 out of the way, so you divide both sides. Okay, but watch what you can do. This y isn't there. At this point, we have sine 30 is 12 over y. These can just switch with one another in one step. And so you get y is equal to 12 over sine of 30. Okay, in one step only. That might be kind of nice for you. You have to do a little side calculation for sine still. You have to continue with it there, right? But might save you a couple of steps along the way. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you today with using trigonometry to find missing lengths. Please keep in mind Pythagoras is also available to use. From class we got how do we get the 24? What happens is what we're doing is we're taking 12. First of all, you're allowed to just use the calculator. So 12 divided by 0.5, it'll give that to you. But conceptually, right? Let's take 12 and divide it into 3 groups. Going back like to when we were little kids. Have 12 things, you divide it into 3 groups. How many in each group? 4, right? Or another way to think about it, let's say you have 12 things and you put 3 in each group. That's better, actually. 12 things, 3 into each group. 4 groups, right? Let's say you have 12 things, and you put 2 into each group. How many groups? 6, right? You have 12 things, and you put 1 in each group. How many different groups are there? 12. So you have 12 things, you cut them all in half, and you put half in each group. How many groups are there? You have 12 things, you cut them all in halves, and you put a half into each group. See if you have 12 things there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you cut them all into 2 pieces, cut them all in half. How many pieces are there now? No,
Yeah.
no, you cut,
12 divided by 2.
yeah, 12 divided by 2, we got 12. That's, if you have 12 things and you put 2 in each group, then you have 6 groups.
Yeah.
If you have 12 and you put half in each group. Okay, it's like, let's say you have 12 pieces of spaghetti. Okay, and you break the spaghetti into halves now. How many pieces of spaghetti are you gonna have? See? So if you take half and put a half in each group, then you have 24 there. Okay. It'd be much more professional if I drew it out, but hey, we're getting near the end. Save that for next day. Okay, so what happens? Teams, I'm gonna send you up the homework sheet, only one sheet for today. For class, I'll hand out the piece of paper worksheet for you. Yeah, and I'm gonna pause the video, and then if there are, oh, and I guess I can keep it going. What questions are there about test number 2? Oh, I'll have to check that one. I'll get that back to you. Yeah.
So what, I can do the exam tomorrow, right?
Yeah, I can get that out to you. So yeah, I'm gonna pause the video, and then if there are any questions about the test, we can take care of that. Teams, if you have any questions, reach out and by messenger and go from there. See you tomorrow.
Okay.